Okay, so here's the thing about blowjobs. They don't come with instructions. So when you give your first one, you don't know what to do. And it's not like back in the day you could look it up on Google and say, oh, I want to do it like that, or that looks like it's more my style. You just kind of go for it, you know? And I was dating, I hate using that word, but because I never know what it means. Like, doesn't it mean that you go out? Doesn't mean that you have to be like, anyway. So I was seeing this guy, and he wanted a blowjob, and I had never done one before, so I was like, okay, you know. But like I said, they don't come with instructions. They don't hand you out a pamphlet that says, you know, girls do this. They're okay with this. Like, I don't know. I just knew what I was down with. So I'm doing the deed, and the guy comes, right? Well, I didn't think it tasted bad. I didn't I didn't spit it out. I swallowed it, and then I kept going. Well, I was like 13 or 14. He was like 16. So it wasn't, but this guy, I guess now that I know what I know and that it's like super sensitive afterwards, I could see where that would have like blown his stupid teenage mind. Like, oh my God, because now I know it's customary for the girls to spit it out and go, ew, no, it tastes bad. Well, I didn't think so. So anyway, I kept going, and the next day at school, this guy, I don't know if it was his intention to fuck me over, or if he was just really shocked. I don't know. But he goes around and he's telling everybody, like, oh my God, I got the best blowjob. Misty, she sucked my cock in the fucking cemetery. Very classy. I'm a classy girl. The cemetery is right behind my house. Anyway, so he goes around school and he's like bragging about this, and I'm like, wow, that sucks. So I get a hold of him, and I'm telling him like, hey, you know, that looks really good on you, but I'm catching a whole bunch of shit. Like, not cool, bro. Totally not cool. So that's when I decided, fuck these teenage boys. Like, they don't know what the fuck they're doing, and they talk shit. Wow. So anyway, I started seeing an older dude. We'll get into that later. But the whole reason this even happened is because my mom completely cock-blocked me. Like, I had plans with, who's my best friend? One of my best friend's older brother. Dude was gorgeous. And we were both virgins, and we're like sitting there talking about it, and we're like, hey, I want to check out and see what this sex thing's all about. And he's like, well, yeah, me too. And I was like, well, let's do it. And he's like, well, yeah, let's do it. Well, when you want to. So we planned this little camping trip or whatever, because Tehachapi has this like place where you can go, and it's Tehachapi. Anyway, so we have it all planned out. We're going to go, and you know, it's going to be a safe environment. I'm not going to make fun of him if he sucks. He's not going to make fun of me if I suck. Like, because we're friends, right? And instead of, you know, going through that whole, like, you know, where the guy shames the girl the next day, like, oh, she was easy. That wasn't even going to be a problem, because we had already worked it out. Well, then one day, my mom cooking in the kitchen, making some kind of atrocity because she cannot cook for shit. It's a wonder I made it out of that childhood alive with her cooking. Probably a lot of fast food. And she did work at restaurants, but only as a waitress. Nobody would dare let her in the kitchen. She's terrible. Anyway, so she's like making some kind of atrocity in the kitchen, and then she just kind of looks up and she's like, Misty, are you planning on having sex with so-and-so on this camping trip? And I was like, well, yeah. Duh. And she's like, well, then you're not going. And I'm like, why not, Mom? She's like, because you're not. And I'm like, Mom, that is not cool. Here I am arguing with my mom about how, you know, she needs to let me go on this camping trip to, like, have sex. Oh, the trials and tribulations of having an autistic child. Poor woman. Anyway, and I'm like, why not, Mom? Like, it's cool. Like, we already agreed. Everything's cool. We're not going to make fun of each other. We're going to find out anyway. And she's like, you're just not going, Misty. You're just not going. And I'm like, wow, my mom is so fucking uncool. Because that guy was really, really hot. And still is. Not going to mention your name, but shout out. Anyway, so I ended up going and, you know, down the mountain again, instead going back to Mojave. And that's when this incident with this other guy happened. And then he goes and tells everybody, like, all of this stuff. And I'm like, wow, dude, that's super uncool. And that's my mom's fault. Because I could have figured it out with the other guy, who was my friend, and who wasn't going to go and talk shit. So, thanks for that, Mom. That is all your fault. I'm blaming my mom for getting blasted for sucking cock. But it is her fault. I stand by that, 100%. Because she also told me that I wouldn't like cream of mushroom soup because it was used for cooking. And I did like it. And anyway, that was a whole different argument because my mom is just dumb. Anyway, so after this incident happens where this guy goes and tells everybody, oh, guess what happened? Like, whatever. I'm like, why am I fucking around with these teenage boys? They don't know shit. They talk shit. They fuck like jackrabbits. Like, ew. So, one day, I'm there. Yeah, it's kind of by my house. In a phone booth. In the rain. Super cliche. Anyway, my friend's dad pulls up and he's like, hey, like, what are you doing out here in the rain? And I'm like, I don't know, I got like 15 minutes before I have to be home. I'm just chilling in the phone booth because my aunt's a fucking bitch. And he's like, well, I mean, you want to get in the car and wait there? There's better air. And I'm like, he was really cute. And he had this like really cool sports car. So I was like, all right. But I was still kind of naive about it. And then he starts talking and shit happens and, well, needless to say, older men, they know more. Plus, he had a littler dick and it didn't hurt me so much. I was new to this game. So, that becomes like a thing. And anyway, this stupid fuck decides to ask me to ask my mom if my mom and Paul, that's his name, my mom and Paul, because I protect names but not his, because fuck him, he's a dick. So anyway, he asked me to ask my mom and Paul if they were swingers. I had no idea what that meant. I mean, like, I'm like 13, 14 years old, and we don't have the internet. Urban Dictionary is not a thing. So I asked my mom, and I was like, hey, Mom, are you and Paul swingers? And she's like, what? And I'm like, you heard me. Are you and Paul swingers? And she's like, where did you even hear that? And I was like, no, I was just told to ask you. And she's like, well, who told you to ask you? And I told her the guy who happened to be a guy that she went to high school with. And she was like, that creep. Wait, well, first she's like, Misty, are you having sex with so-and-so? And I was like, yeah, because I don't lie. I just don't. I'm like, well, yeah. And she's like, well, you need to stop. And you need to stop right away. And I'm like, well, why? Like, he's showing me all these cool things. Like, he's not telling everybody. It's pretty cool. And she's like, Misty, you need to stop. And I was like, okay. And I knew he could get in trouble. But I didn't want him to, you know what I mean? Because he was nice to me. He was one of my educators. And then I was like, okay, Mom, but you're not going to tell him, right? And she's like, Misty Dawn, I am not going to go and ruin that man's life when I know you're the one who started it. Wrong, Mom. He started it. I was the one who kept it going. And that's why when they say, like, oh, you were a victim, like, not really. I was climbing into his window. I don't see how I was the victim if I was climbing in his window. Anyway, blowjobs don't come with instructions, and apparently most girls don't swallow. I don't know. I'm never there watching them do it. Usually, if there's more than one, it's me with other guys, because, I mean, 2 guys have enough steam for 1 female. Not all guys have enough steam for 2 females. Plus, I'm stingy and I don't like to share. I mean, I won't kick a girl out of the scene, but depending on my level of attraction to her, like, I don't know. It's just not going to be what you expect. I'll probably be like chilling out, watching TV or taking turns. I don't know. But I'm not really into females. I don't know what the point of that is. Anyway, blowjobs don't come with instructions. It is okay to swallow. Teenage boys back in the day sucked ass, but it's because all they had was like these stupid, ugly 70s porn movies from their parents' closet that they could watch. Really? That is not educational at all. Now, everybody has access to all this really awesome, crazy porn, and don't judge the young dudes and say like, oh, inexperienced. These little bitches are freaks. Of age, of course. But they're not like the teenage boys from whenever, well, I say teenager. They gotta be at least old enough to have a beer. If they can't drink a beer, then no. But anyway, I'm done. There's no instructions for blowjobs. They should have handed out pamphlets. They would have saved me a whole lot of trouble. And thanks, Mom, for cock blocking me, because had you not done that, everything would have been fine. And that guy, he's still way hot. Shout out.